Hi, this is Dan, and welcome to my record collection. It's probably bigger than Jeff and Jimmy's. I think I've been collecting longer than both of them, and I have some obsessive compulsive tendencies. So there's a lot, and they should also be in perfect order. First thing we're going to start with are 7 inches. I keep them first. Obviously, I can't go through everything with you, but I'm going to pull out a couple key ones that I enjoy a lot. Ambitions, a band from Connecticut that my old band played a lot of shows with. Very enjoyable. Their first 2 7 inches. This is Neon Lights, and this is Exile. This one is off Think Fast Records, and this is on Bridge 9. These are both really good. I still keep in contact with some of the members from Ambitions. Great Connecticut band. Members of With Honor. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Like Jeff and Jimmy, I have At All Costs. I have a lot of Bane. I have the first of many Fleet Foxes that you'll see in my collection. If you refer back to our Fleet Foxes episode, you'll know that Jimmy and I tried to talk Jeff into them. You'll have to listen, because it's a podcast, to find out if we succeeded. This is a choral version of Crack Up and In the Morning, live in Switzerland. This is from Record Store Day. That's why I think I left it in the plastic sleeve. Then I get to a huge chunk of Gaslight Anthem, a lot of which you've already seen from Jeff and Jimmy's collection. Only thing I might have that's a little bit different is I have this split they did with Fake Teenagers. They both did songs for teenagers, which I guess is a Fake Teenager song. Gaslight Anthem covered it. So that's a little interesting. That's early on in their career. Oh, this is a fun one. This is Progress. This is a band that I was in from Connecticut. They recorded this after I left. It's a little 4-song EP called Reignite Your Heart. It's got some interesting comic book style artwork. Funny story, Jeff and I have always wanted to be in a band that released vinyl and never have been, but the band I left went on to release vinyl, so that was really sad. Now we get to some interesting stuff here. This is a fun collection of 7 inches that was released for the 20th anniversary of And Out Come the Wolves by Rancid. So this is the whole album in little 2-song, 4-song 7 inches. It's a little cool little collectible thing that I picked up from Red Scroll Records, our home base for record stores. And then got a couple Ruiner 7 inches here. They're a good hardcore band that I was really into for a while. Shipwreck, they're another hardcore band. And then we get into a huge chunk of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band 7 inches. A lot of these I inherited from my uncle Keith, who is one of the Bruce Bros that you can hear on our Bruce Springsteen episode. And yeah, Jeff probably has a lot of these. Tunnel of Love, Brilliant Disguise, Dancing in the Dark. There's some really interesting ones. This is one of my favorites. This is War, as in War, what is it good for? And the B-side is Merry Christmas Baby. So that one's a lot of fun. Hungry Heart with Held Up Without a Gun. That's a classic. I don't do karaoke often, but when I have done karaoke, I always sing Hungry Heart. That's my jam. Almost through the 7 inches here. Let's see. Oh, this one I have to brag about here. So we might as well pull out the Touche Amore collection since Jeff did, and since we talked about Touche Amore. Obviously, I was talked into Touche Amore. Became one of probably my most successful talk-ins on the show. I really fell in love with them. So I've got this 7 inch with split with the Casket Lottery that Jeff has. I've got this 7 inch Touche Amore with Make Do and Mend, who's another Connecticut hardcore band that I really enjoy. I just picked up live on BBC Radio 1. I think this is the first one. I got this just recently. You can see a video of me picking it up from a local record store. Let's see, a lot of these are the same. This is the one that I wanted to brag about. As Jeff mentioned, this is the Touche Amore Limelight Flexi disc that was only sent out to the real ones. I I think that I received this because, like Jeff, I donated to a Black Lives Matter charity thing that they sponsored. So that was really cool just to come home and find that in my mailbox. Yeah, and then I have a few 10 inches, not as many, but some of them are pretty cool. This one I picked up on Record Store Day. This is a 7-inch Old Dirty Bastard, Brooklyn Zoo and Shimmy Shimmy Ya, and it's in the shape of his food stamp card, which is hilarious. I just thought this was really fun and collectible, and I'm also a Wu-Tang fan, so I fuck with that. Here's another fun one Jeff got me as a gift. If you enjoyed our Lenny Lashley episode, this is a 7-inch single, Lenny Lashley's Gang of One. It's US Mail on the A side and Hooligans on the B side, and it's in the shape of a postage stamp. So that's kind of a fun thing. And Lenny Lashley was ahead of his time, supporting the local mail before it was cool to do so. Here's one that Jimmy, things are falling. Here's one that Jimmy probably wishes he owned. This is the Backbeat Band, which was basically the band that was put together for the movie Backbeat, which is like an early retelling of the Beatles. But they did some like really fun, like super hyped up R&B songs. So this is Money, and on the B side, he's wearing my bathrobe, which is not something I'm familiar with. They also have Dizzy Miss Lizzy. So this is a fun little 10-inch pickup. I've got some Gaslight Anthem. I've got a Brian Fallon solo 10-inch. And then I have this one, which is really cool, The Clash. They're one of my favorite bands. This is Black Market Clash. This is sort of like an EP of alternate versions and alternate like cuts from, I believe this is from the Give 'Em Enough Rope recording session. So you got Capital Radio 1, Pressure Drop, Bank Robber, dub mix. That's really cool. Yeah, there's some cool just alternate stuff from the Give 'Em Enough Rope sessions. So that's 7 inches and 10 inches. So before I get started on my 12 inches, I do want to shout out, I got this cool little now spinning rack from Etsy. I forget the user, but this was basically because I hated when I'm playing an album, which I'll listen to an album for like a few days, like off and on. And I hated just like leaving the sleeve and the case and stuff just laying around anywhere. So this is a cool way to have somewhere to put that and also display it. So what I'm listening to right now, I just picked this up from Red Score Records. This is Phoebe Bridgers' new album, Punisher. I think I talked about this on the show in a Talking Myself Into segment. I really enjoyed her performance on Saturday Night Live. So I've been listening to her on Spotify, and I really like the new album. So it's a really fun release. If you are into Phoebe Bridgers and you're on the fence, I highly encourage you picking this up. It comes with, I'll actually show you really quick. It's like a lyric booklet, but more in-depth and intense. It's got a lot of really cool artwork along with it. And there's so the lyrics are interspersed with some drawings. It's a really nice release. And the thing is, obviously, sure, I listen to it on Spotify first, and I do that with everything. But if I'm enjoying something, it's nice when the record company goes the extra mile to make it worth your while to have that tactile experience. So I enjoy that. Into my 12-inch collection. First up are soundtracks and weird comps and stuff like that. Some of these are pretty interesting. I have this really nice picture disc of the Back to the Future, what are they calling this? Are they calling this the soundtrack? Yeah, it's the soundtrack, not the score. So this is the one with all the songs that you know, like The Power of Love and, Johnny Be Good, Earth Angel, stuff like that. So that's a really fun release. What else do I have? I have music from The Big Chill, just like Jimmy, because that's a great movie and possibly even better soundtrack. This is a really fun little twofer here. So I have Inside Llewyn Davis, the original soundtrack recordings, which, if you know the movie, you know that a huge part of it is based on the success of the music in the film. So this was something that I really wanted to own. And then to pair with that, I picked up this really great live performance that I think it initially aired on Showtime. It was recorded live at Town Hall in New York City on September 29th, 2013. And it was sort of a promotional thing for the film. And it's got a great list of people from the movie, but also really awesome traditional Americana, folk, blues performers doing songs either from the movie or from the time period. So it's a really nice 3 LP set. and the concert benefited the National Recording Preservation Foundation. So this is a really fun one to have. Oscar Isaac performs on it, and as you can tell, if you weren't aware, they did live recordings of the music in the movie, so he really is singing those on the spot at the time. Let's see. I've got a lot of these. I have a few scores. I'm not huge. I'm not like Jimmy's really into score music. For me, it's got to be something really special and stand out. So I've got a lot of the classic, very well-known scores. I've got Jurassic Park here. This was a Mondo release, I believe, which is fun. Yep, Mondo number 17. They always do a nice job with their packaging. I think it's on like a very interesting amber colored vinyl. I've got these two I picked up at the same time because when Jeff used to live here with me, we would have Dungeons and Dragons every week, and I used to like to spin like scores in the background, and these two always made it really fun to play D&D to. This is the Planet of the Apes score. Again, this is a Mondo release, and if you're familiar with the original, 1960s Planet of the Apes, you'll know the all the drum stuff is really cool. And then for a different vibe, this is Stranger Things, the first score release. And I mean, if you know Stranger Things, you know the synth heavy first season is really cool. And then the only other score that I wanted to mention was, actually, is this a soundtrack? Yeah, this is a soundtrack, not a score. So this is True Romance, the Tony Scott film that was written by Quentin Tarantino. This is a really cool release. It was put out by Real Gone Music. I don't know. I thought that was a different company. Either way, War God. Basically, this company got the rights to the soundtrack, and they did this really nice vinyl release. It's on a cool baby blue color LP, and to celebrate the release, they went around and did a couple special events. There's a local old school one-screen cinema near us called The Strand. It's in Seymour, Connecticut. And so they had like a kickoff event for this LP. If you bought it, you also got tickets to go to a screening of True Romance. So that was really fun to see that on the big screen at like a really intimate, small one-screen theater. And then let's see, the rest of the shelf. As I mentioned, I'm sort of a completionist, so if I mention an artist, I probably have everything by that artist. I've got Against Me here. There's some really fun, like, alternate versions of things that they released. Like Total Clarity is like alternate cuts from the recording sessions or demo sessions of Absolute, or Searching for a Former Clarity. Probably my favorite album by Against Me, Transgender Dysphoria Blues. I wasn't crazy about their couple albums before that, like White Crosses and stuff, but that one was a real resurgence for me. I've got the Ambitions full length, like I talked about in the 7-inch. I've got a bunch of Avett Brothers albums. Not all of them. I think they're a little hit or miss, especially some of their new stuff, but I really love some of the stuff they released on American Recordings. They recorded this with Rick Rubin. Magpie and the Dandelion is awesome, and then True Sadness, The Carpenter. Let's see, a couple Joan Baez albums, a couple albums by the band, and then some Bane stuff, as Jeff referenced. I think we're going to be doing a Bane episode coming up soon. This is Give Blood. This is my favorite Bane album. I like that a lot. And then their last album, Don't Wait Up, is also really good. I need to pick up a couple of the other Bane albums just for collection's sake. I've got the two big Beach Boys comps that Jimmy also has, Endless Summer and Spirit of America. If you're not obsessive with the Beach Boys and you don't need every release, those are really nice compilations. And then I also have the Beach Boys Christmas album. Growing up, this was the Christmas music we listened to. My dad would play this on cassette in the car, and to me this just brings back all kinds of Christmas memories, so I had to own this. One year for my family's Christmas party, I bought a whole bunch of Christmas vinyl, so there's more in here, and I just spun records. It was a really fun way to listen to Christmas music. Then I've got the Beatles, all the reissues from, I don't know, 2008, somewhere around there. I picked these up in the box set, but the box doesn't fit on the shelves, so I took them out. And so that's the top shelf. And now we'll go to on the second shelf. Now we're into B's. I've got the rest of the Beatles set that I mentioned. I've got a couple other weird Beatles things. some bootlegs and stuff, like what's this one called? This is like the Hey Jude bootleg that floated around for a while. This one, I forgot where I picked this up. This is weird. This is the Baroque Beatles book. I don't know if I've ever even listened to this. I think it's like Baroque recordings of Beatles music. I don't know, just a weird thing. I probably got it for $1. And then I've got To Make Jimmy Jealous. I have all 3 of the Beatles anthology because I'm better than him at collecting records, at least. Let's see, The Beths. This is a band I mentioned on the show. This is a band I was talking myself into. This album, Future Me Hates Me, is really fun. They're like a power pop rock band from New Zealand. That's a really good album. And then I've got a few albums by Bleachers, which is a band that probably Jeff and Jimmy hate. This is, what's his name from that band, Fun. And he also makes all the Taylor Swift albums. Let's see, I've got some Blues Brothers, just like Jimmy. I got this fun comp, David Bowie compilation, Nothing Has Changed, Everything Has Changed. Sort of the greatest hits. I'm not a huge Bowie guy. I respect the hits. I respect his, body of work, but this is enough for me. Let's see, Johnny Cash. I got Live at Folsom Prison. I feel like that's a law that everyone has to own that. Let's see. Just some different Johnny Cash stuff. I have all the American recordings. This is a great one. Cheap Trick Live at Budokan. Again, not a huge Cheap Trick guy. Like, respect them, know the hits. Got to see them live at a very strange concert with Hart and Joan Jett. And if you're going to own a Cheap Trick album, own Live at Budokan, because this is what broke them and had all the big songs on it. Let's see. The Clash, I've got all the big ones. No special releases, nothing worth really noting there. The Claypool Lennon Delirium. This is another one I mentioned on Talking Myself Into. This is, I don't know if it's the newest anymore. When I bought it, it was their latest album, South of Reality. This is a really fun, jammy, psychedelic, trippy album. If you're thinking of checking them out, give them a chance. Let's see. Comeback Kid, they're a good hardcore band. Got to see live a few times. Haven't really followed up with them lately, but I have their first 2 albums. Got a Best of Sam Cooke. This is a fun one. Cruel Hand, Dark Side of the Cage. This is the newest release of Cruel Hand, and it's on Static Era Records. This is the record store that's featured in a video Jimmy recorded of all of us finally getting together and hitting the town during COVID with masks. Don't know if that's ever going to come out because the audio might be terrible, but Jay Reason at Static Era Records, it's his record label. He runs a store in Milford, Connecticut. They put out this EP. It's really, really good. We're going to be talking about it in some sort of a mini episode or something. They hooked us up with copies. So shout out to Static Era Records. Great album by Cruel Hand. Now over to this shelf, we get into some Elvis Costello, which I've got the first 3 albums, as you do. The Attraction stuff is definitely my favorite. Then we get into a huge chunk of Bob Dylan, which I think is the first musical act we talked about on the show. Obviously, it's huge for me. I've got a huge collection of weird Dylan stuff. Live at the Gaslight, 1961. That's pretty early. Little strange color copy. Let's see. I'm just going to list off every Bob Dylan album I have. And if it's something very cool, I'll pull it out. I've got Bringing It All Back Home, Highway 61 Revisited, Nashville Skyline, New Morning, Dylan, Planet Waves. This is an interesting copy of the Basement Tapes. It's the original Basement Tapes. I think it's basically they stripped out all the like re-records and overdubs that were done on the official Basement Tapes release, because if you didn't know, there's a lot of overdubs that the band did later. Which is this. So this is those Basement Tapes recordings, but with a lot of extra edits and overdubs. Blood on the Tracks, that's one of my favorites. Desire, Hard Rain, Slow Train Comin', Street Legal, Saved, and then I got the 2 greatest hits albums. This is a fun one. This was a Record Store Day release, or possibly an early thing. Sidetracks. These are like B-sides, unreleased live stuff, things like that. It's just a nice collection. It's numbered. So there's some cool stuff on here that you can't find other places. Then I also have this box set, which is really nice. The original mono recordings. The early Dylan stuff sounds way better on mono to me, and I guess to a lot of nerds out there. So I've got, all those early albums from self-titled all the way through John Wesley Harding on mono. And then I've got bootleg series. I'm not going to pull all these out. I don't have all of them. That would cost too much money. I've got Volume 10, which is another self-portrait. That's one of my favorites. The Basement Tapes Raw, that's Volume 11. Volume 12 is Best of the Cutting Edge. So this is recordings done in 65 and 66. Then I don't have Volume 13. I think that was a live thing. I've got, this is Volume 14, More Blood, More Tracks. So this is alternate cuts during the Blood on the Tracks recordings. And Traveling Through, this is a fun one. This is basically it's songs cut on recording sessions for John Wesley Harding and Nashville Skyline, and also there was a period of time when Johnny Cash got in the studio with Bob Dylan. You've probably heard what's the song that actually got put on something? The only Girl from North Country was used for something, but the rest of it was not great. But this has all of it. If you want to hear a lot of not great songs by Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan. Let's take it down a notch. We are now in the 3rd level, so I'm using a chair because I'm smart. This is a fun one. Eddie and the Cruisers, original motion picture soundtrack. This should be up there. I don't know why it is, but all the music is, I believe, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, which this is the best thing they ever recorded, and that's a shame because their name's not really even on it. So I'm going to relocate that after this video. Let's see. Oh, now we get into Father John Misty. This is definitely an episode we've had on the show. I've got a big chunk of Father John Misty. I've got, these should be in chronological order. This is Fear Fun, which is the first album. This one, I always forget the titles because they're not on there. I Love You, Honey Bear. He puts his titles on the sticker, and when you peel the sticker off, it's gone. This is the album that got it started for me. I actually saved the sticker for this one, Pure Comedy. Still my favorite Father John Misty album. This is one that's a close second. Oh, I can't even hold it up properly. Let's see. This is God's Favorite Customer. Cool picture of him on there. A little bit less impressive of a release. And then I've got this one, Father John Misty live at Third Man Records. There's some cool alternate solo cuts of some of his bigger songs. One thing I want to mention about his that I love that you'll also see coming up in Fleet Foxes is these albums are on Sub Pop, and Sub Pop always does a really nice job with inserts. They're all almost all gatefolds, so they're really nice albums to collect and get into. Then we get Fleet Foxes next. This is a really nice set. This is Fleet Foxes' first collection. This covers, let's see, there's a lot of stuff in here. This is a cool release. I'm gonna open it up real quick just to show you some of the stuff. This has the first album, the first EP, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's copies of handwritten lyrics. There's some demos in here and unreleased stuff. I'm a huge Fleet Foxes fan, as you heard on our Fleet Foxes episode. Hopefully you heard that. And as soon as this was coming out, I knew I was going to have to buy that. Now, let's see. I have all the other Fleet Foxes, which except for Shore, which hasn't been delivered yet at the time of this recording, but it's pre-ordered. This is a fun one. This is a 12-inch single. This is a 12-inch single of Helplessness Blues on the A side and Grown Ocean on the B side, or as they call it, the A side and the AA side. So this was a fun little release. I think it was a promo before the Helplessness Blues album, just to sort of get people jazzed up, and I got it from Red Scroll for $5, so that's always nice. Fleetwood Mac, I got a couple Fleetwood Mac albums. One that I just picked up recently, which I'm really enjoying. This is a Record Store Day release. This is the Alternate Rumors. This is fun. This is the entire Rumors album, but all alternate takes. So if you love the Rumors album, which most people do, this is a cool way to hear different versions, and some of them are dramatically different, like fully different rhythms, tempos, keys, alternate vocals, alternate lyrics. That's really fun. I've got a few Foo Fighters albums. Gang of Four, Fugazi. Jeff talked a lot about Gang of Four. I think I have, a lot of the stuff that he has. He has a bigger Gang of Four collection, which is funny because I introduced him to Gang of Four, but he's surpassed me. The student has become the master. Gaslight Anthem. I've got all the Gaslight Anthem. Much like Jimmy, I do not enjoy Get Hurt. Not a good album. Should have probably broken up before that. Gorilla Biscuits. This is a great New York hardcore band. Sort of came out of the Youth Crew movement, but in my opinion surpassed that with more melodic vocals and guitar parts. This is a fun reissue of Start Today. It's really their only full length. The self-titled album I also have on 7-inch, so that one's fun. What else do I have in here? We're talking Christmas music. We gotta be talking Robert Goulet. This Christmas I Spend With You. It's schlocky, it's corny, it's over the top. Jeff got me into this album. Everyone who wants to collect Christmas music should have this. It's sort of like a quintessential Christmas songs with a few that he wrote or arranged, which are very strange Christmas songs. Funny story, Jeff has a copy of this with a divot in the record, and it horribly skips and repeats every time. And for a while that was his ringtone, I believe, which was fun. Oh, here's a fun pair. Greg Graffin, the singer from Bad Religion. I love his first solo album, American Legion. This came out early. This is a reissue, but this was recorded in '97, and it's sort of just like a pop rock with political elements, but it's just like a really poppy, fun, singable album. Then he came out with this album, Cold as the Clay, in 2006 on Anti Records, and this is like an Americana, like roots rock, folk album, like really traditional, and I think he has another one in that vein. I enjoy it. I wish he would do something more like this, though. A full band electric pop album. That was great. Let's see. I've got all of the H2O albums. They're a great melodic hardcore band from New York. What else? Haim. I've got all the Haim albums, including Women in Music Part 3, the newest one, which took me a very long time to get. I also this is on Yellow, which is like collectible, I believe. I like that Haim records their full lengths on 45 speed. I guess there's an argument to be made that for this type of pop music, it sounds better. I don't know if I can hear the difference, but it's just a fun little quirk. And if I don't remember to change the speed on my turntable, it sounds really strange. This is a Record Store Day release for Haim. This is a 12-inch single of Forever, the album version on the A side. Then the B side has a remix by Giorgio Moroder, I don't know who that is, and an unreleased song called Edge. So that's a fun little collectible. A couple albums by The Head and the Heart. They're a band that I used to fuck with. I haven't really listened to them a lot lately. The Horrible Crows, that's a Gaslight Anthem side project with Brian Fallon. HostageCom, let's see. HostageCom does the theme song to our show, which I think Jimmy mentioned. Jimmy has a lot of HostageCom stuff. I'm not going to show you all of it, but I do have a few things that are a little bit collectible. This copy of their self-titled album, on the 1-year anniversary of this self-titled album's release, they played a show at the Space in Hamden, Connecticut, where they played the full album front to back in order with all the additional instrumentation. If you've listened to this album, you know it's really layered with additional percussion, pianos, acoustic guitar. So they had every extra musician up there to do it legit. They played the whole show in suits, and tickets to the show got you the album with this alternate screen printed cover. It's really not a cover. It's just like a poster that just like sits in there. But I really thought that was cool. I have that. And then I think that there's a matching one they did, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, for Please Remain Calm. I don't think this was for an anniversary show. I think this was just if you bought it live, you could get this screen printed alternate cover, which is really cool. It's like a negative. So there's the original cover, and then there's the alternate screen printed jacket that goes over it. I got a couple Kendrick Lamar albums. That's something that we'll probably be doing an episode on in the future. I know I'm into Kendrick Lamar. I think Jeff is as well. I've got Lenny Lashley here. What else? What is this? Oh, this is a really nice box set. I'm just gonna move some furniture real quick because I can't fit my fat body. John Lennon, Give Me Some Truth. My parents got me for this for Christmas. It's a really big, nice remastered collection, 36 tracks, Lennon's biggest hits. I don't have a lot of Lennon solo albums, so this was a really nice way to cover, you know, most of my bases at once. I think actually the only other John Lennon solo album I have, let's see. Yeah, is Another Comp. This is like his first solo compilation, Shaved Fish. A lot of these are covered on Give Me Some Truth. One that was left off of Give Me Some Truth, maybe it's a sign of the times. Woman is the N-word of the world. Good song, not great right now, but actually has a reasonable message. John Lennon enjoyed pissing people off, so I definitely think there's an element of that. And now that he's passed away, I think Yoko was like, let's just skip that one on the next comp. Let's see, got some Jerry Lee Lewis stuff. He's problematic as well. Here's a fun album that nobody talks about anymore, but I loved when it came out. This is Loretta Lynn, Van Leer Rose. This is the Loretta Lynn album that came out in 2010 on Third Man Records. Jack White co-wrote this album and performed on it with her. It's a really fun return to like roots, traditional country music for Loretta Lynn. You know, a lot of these country singers from the 60s and 70s, their careers dwindled and they got caught up with the sound of the times. So they're like adapting to like 90s country and big blown out production and stuff. So to hear this on Third Man Records, really stripped down roots country album, I think it's her best album, and she was an older woman at the time, so that was a really cool sort of rejuvenation of her career. I've got some interesting Madonna releases. You didn't think I liked Madonna, did you? But, you know, classics are classics. This is a really fun, it's a Record Store Day release, but I guess it's supposed to mirror the original Japanese picture disc release of her first album. A lot of big songs on this: Lucky Star, Borderline, Everybody, you know, a lot of classics. Oh, True Blue, I just picked this up used. This is one of my favorite Madonna albums. Papa Don't Preach, Open Your Heart, Where's the Party. This has got $6. Danny B, Red Scroll held it for me. You know, how could you pass that up? I got Minor Threat because I'm straight edge and that's a law. It was gifted to me by the gods. Here's a really fun one. I'm surprised Jeff didn't talk about that. I believe he has this. It's a little dusty. This is a Eugene Merman box set called I'm Sorry You're Welcome, a singular experience for the modern listener. This is a 7 LP box set of stand-up comedy, weirdness, spoken word, just a lot of stuff. So the first LP is a live set in Seattle. Then there's a guided meditation for the thoughtful body. Side 2 of the B-side of the second LP is Fuckscape. I'll let you decide about that. Side 3 is Eugene's comprehensive sound effects library. This is Eugene Merman just making sound effects, mostly with his mouth. Digital Drugs, that's just weirdness. LP 5, over 45 minutes of crying. Describes itself. The sixth LP, on the A side, there's an introduction to spoken Russian. Eugene Merman was born in Russia and speaks Russian. And the B side is ringtones and outgoing voicemail messages for your personal use. So you could play that, record it on your phone. It's great. And LP 7 is a recording of 195 orgasms. Sounds of 195 orgasms. You can't go wrong with that. Just classic stuff from Eugene Merman. I have the two Misfits collections that everyone wants to have. I have Kacey Musgraves. I have all of her albums. She's quite good. If you're a fan of, roots Americana twinged with pop, that's Kacey Musgraves for you. I've got My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, which was on one of our record roundtables, maybe the second, maybe the third, who knows. NWA, Greatest Hits. The New Basement Tapes, this is a fun one. A box of Bob Dylan lyrics that were never used were found in an attic somewhere. And it dates back to the Music from Big Pink Basement Tapes era up in Woodstock, New York. So T-Bone Burnett, who's a famous music producer, he got his hands on them, and he put together a super group to record renditions of these lyrics. So this group is made up of, oh geez, it's not printed. Am I going to be able to remember who's in this? Oh geez. This is the singer from Dawes, Elvis Costello, Rhiannon something, the guy from Mumford & Sons. Yeah, it's a lot of good people, and they're doing like cool renditions of Bob Dylan lyrics. Let's see, I've got some NoFX albums, nothing too special. I Heard They Suck Live and The Decline. Here's a fun one. This is Old Crow Medicine Show, 50 Years of Blonde on Blonde. So this is a live recording where Old Crow Medicine Show performed the entire Blonde on Blonde Bob Dylan album from front to back. And there's some of them are really true to form, and some of them are like super out there, different takes on those songs. So that's a fun one to listen to. Operation Ivy, Peter, Paul, and Mary, like some greatest hits and stuff. I've got Public Enemy. Is this in the wrong place? I don't know. Public Enemy, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Greatest Rap Hits. I guess it's like a greatest hits thing. I thought I had more Public Enemy. That's weird. Rage Against the Machine. I got the first three. It's good stuff. On to the bottom level. Ow! Jimmy, cut all this out, okay? Ow! Okay, I'm on my hands and knees now at the bottom of the shelf, and these things probably get listened to less than they should because it's harder to get to them. So what do we have here? I'm kneeling on pillows. We've got Ramones, the first couple Ramones albums. Those are classic. Rocket to Russia. Some of these are honestly blocked by my guitar stand. Rolling Stones. I've got, a collection of Rolling Stones. They're not great. They're like used things that I picked up. Beggar's Banquet. Exile on Main Street. The big ones, the biggies, the good rock ones. Sticky Fingers. This is kind of a weird release. I picked this Sticky Fingers up. It's a reissue. There's a lot of good songs in this, but a little creepy. I noticed when I got it home that it has a zipper that actually works. So if you're into, Mick Jagger's dick, that's cool. That's the album for you. Let's see. Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. I got a few by them. Sort of trippy. Simon and Garfunkel. I got all the big ones. Let's see. I want to drag this out. This is a fun set. This is a pain in the ass, though. This is the reason why Jimmy owns the first few Bruce Springsteen albums, because I bought this and double dipped. This is the album collection volume 1. I believe there's a volume 2, but I don't like Tunnel of Love as much as these albums. So it's in this like suitcase covered in fake stickers. You got all the big ones, Greetings from Asbury Park to, I believe, Nebraska. Oh, Born in the USA it covers. So that's a fun set. Remasters, sounds really good. They recreated the original artwork. We're gonna just put that here because that's a big boy. I got a ton of Bruce. I got Live at the Hammersmith Odeon. I've got the live box set. I've got some 12-inch singles that I inherited from my uncle, which are fun. Live on Broadway, like Jeff said. I have Letter to You, the newest one. Yeah, that's a lot of that. Strike Anywhere. They're a great melodic hardcore band. Talking Heads, we talked about them a lot on our what was it? The Picked from the Hat episode, I think it was. So this is the Speaking in Tongues album. This is my favorite full length from them. It's got Burning Down the House, Making Flippy Floppy, Slippery People, Swamp. There's a lot of great stuff on this album. If you're like sort of getting into Talking Heads and you don't know where to start, that's a really fun one. Stop Making Sense, that's like the soundtrack. Tegan and Sara. Jeff talked us into a Tegan and Sara album. I really liked it. Still looking for a copy of that. What is it called? Heartbeat? Heartthrob? Forgot what the album is called, but it's the poppiest one. Haven't been able to get my hands on it, but Jeff bought me this for Christmas. This is the newest Tegan and Sara, Hey, I'm Just Like You. This is a fun one. I've been really digging on that lately. Let's see. This is Flood by They Might Be Giants. This is, I talked Jeff and Jimmy into this on one of the record roundtables. This is like a near perfect album, like just front to back, every song in it is great. This is the last live concert I went to see. Jimmy and I saw They Might Be Giants perform the entire Flood album, along with a smattering of other songs. That was really fun. Wish it wasn't the last concert I've seen in 2 years, because I like live music. Let's see. I've got a Touche Amore collection to rival Jeff's when it comes to full length, because I have this. This is To the Beat of a Dead Horse X, or 10. This is the 10-year anniversary. It's To the Beat of a Dead Horse album, along with like a remastered, re-recorded version with the current members. This is a really nice set. It's got like all the handwritten lyrics. It's got a lot of photography from the time period of like live shows and stuff. That's a fun release. I think they just call it Dead Horse X now. What else do I have from them? I've got Parting the Seas. I've got Is Survived By, just regular cuts. Then I have this, which is the Stage 4 Limited Edition Deluxe. This is really fun. It came with the Palm Dreams 45. Custom sticker sheet. I let my niece do it. Each one of these little stickers to make your own sort of customizable cover for the album. This is my favorite Touche Amore album, so I had to have that. And so Limelight came out. It's the only album that's been released since I've been a Touche Amore fan. So I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of this as well, which is really cool. It's more of just a photography book. I think there are lyrics in here, but it's more devoted to just photographic stuff that's sort of sets the tone for the album. Pictures taken on tour and stuff, yeah. And they put the lyrics in the back here. This is on a cool color. I don't think I've taken any actual records out in this whole video, so I should probably do that. This is on a pink and red, like candy cane color, which is really fun. We're getting towards the nitty gritty here, folks. I got like one U2 album. Up front, I think Jeff has some of this. This is Connecticut Straight Edge. Got to play with some of these dudes later on. This is from the 80s. I don't know. It was on Smorgasbord Records, which is out of Stanford. Oh, 1988. So these dudes went on to be in some other bands that I got to play with, but up front is like quintessential Connecticut, like youth crew stuff. They played at the Anthrax all the time in Norwalk, which if you grew up a hardcore kid in Connecticut, you knew about that. Weezer, I've got the Blue Album, and I've got Pinkerton. Those are like my favorites. White Stripes, got a Greatest Hits. I got a couple The Who albums. What else? Hank Williams Sr., Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. Is that our first record roundtable? I get all the record roundtables confused, but this was a really fun one to talk about, and I think the guys really enjoyed it as well. This was quintessential. You could pick this up everywhere. I think I bought this copy at Barnes & Noble back in the day. What else? I think I have her other albums too. What else? Do I have Frank? No, I don't have Frank. I have this one though. Wait, did I pass Frank already? No, I don't. I thought I had Frank, but I don't. This is Lioness, The Hidden Treasures. So this is like alternate versions of stuff from like covers, things like that. She does a fun cover of The Girl from Ipanema, Body and Soul with Tony Bennett. You know, sucks that she's gone because I really enjoyed the stuff she was cutting, and I thought she probably would have had another bunch of good albums in her. X. This is a band that's been on my list to talk to these guys for a while. This is the first album, probably their best, the most raw. Los Angeles. X was a band from Los Angeles. Got to see them perform this whole album live a few years back on one of the anniversaries. Album was produced by Ray Manzarek from The Doors. It's a really quintessential release for like West Coast punk rock. Then I got some of the other ones after that. This is Wild Gift. I think this is the second one, possibly. It's like, you know, right in that same time period. What else? Getting down to the last few here, folks. Neil Young. I don't even remember having this decade. I don't even know what this is. I think it's a greatest hits. That's what it looks like, just judging by the songs that are on it. I'm like a moderate Neil Young fan. If you listen to one of our record roundtables, I talked Jeff and Jimmy into this album, which is Live at the Cellar Door. And I think I said, you know, basically that these were like test outs performed live before the recording of Harvest, maybe. And it's just really stripped down. It's just him and an acoustic guitar, a piano, and a harmonica. Just really honest songwriting and stuff. Maybe it was After the Gold Rush that he was demoing songs for, because I also have After the Gold Rush, Neil Young. Yeah, I think this is the one that he was about to record when he recorded Live at the Cellar Door. And then this is a really fun one. Alphabetically, this is my last album. A Letter Home, Neil Young. This album was produced by Jack White and Neil Young. It's on Third Man Records, and Jack White had gotten his hands on an old-fashioned record recording booth. So basically back in the day, you can go into a store, like a record store, and they'd have this booth that looked like a telephone booth, and you can go in there for, I don't know, a nickel, a quarter, and basically perform, sing, speak into a microphone, and whatever the microphone picked up was cut right then to a vinyl blank, and it was given to you. So that was it. There's no duplication, no reproduction, just live one-to-one. So Jack White got his hands on one of these booths and refurbished it, and Neil Young recorded a whole album there. It sounds like dog shit, but the songs are cool, and it's just a moment captured in time. Girl from the North Country. He does a lot of covers. Dylan, Gordon Lightfoot. I think he does a Bruce song on this. Yeah, My Hometown. So this is a fun, interesting release. Not super re-listenable, but an interesting sort of experiment. And that's it. That's my record collection. Always growing. I think I have an album on hold right now. Yeah, I do. I have Sandinista by The Clash on hold at Red Scroll Records. So check out Red Scroll Records in Wallingford, Connecticut, and Static Era Records in Milford, Connecticut. They've hooked me up. I probably bought almost everything I owned from those two stores. And yeah, buy more vinyl. Now I have to get up. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, this hurts. Oh!